Did you know that the whole Bible is not the only book that tells the story of the Middle East that narrates the creation of Adam and Eve and the flood? There are books older than the Genesis that tell the stories of very similar to those in the first biblical book. How to explain this? Could Genesis be a copy of that book? Let's find out. Until the 19th century, the Bible was the only historical and religious book that spoke about the creation of the world, of man, and of the greatest catastrophic event that ever occurred on the planet, the flood. When modern archaeology emerged, some documents older than the Bible were discovered with accounts very similar to the sacred scripture. One of the first tests discovered by these archaeological excavations revealed that works like the Enumelish are even older than the birth of Moses. The Enumelish, also known as the Seven Tablets of Creation of Mesopotamia, is a Babylonian epic myth, written on the clay tablets that tells the story of the god Marduk over the force of chaos and his establishment of order in the creation of the world. With the universe in a state of chaos, a union emerges between Apsu, the god of freshwater, and Tiamat, the god of chaos and saltwater. From this primordial union, the younger gods arise, who with the mischief disturb the peace of Apsu and Tiamat. The conflict escalates when the younger gods discover that Apsu plans to destroy them. In a dramatic turn, Ea, the god of wind-sound, takes the initiative and defeats Apsu, establishing the dwelling upon him. The drama reaches its climax with the emergence of Marduk, a young, powerful, and charismatic god who offers to confront Tiamat in exchange for supremacy over the gods. The divine council was set, and Marduk, armed with magical weapons and the tempestuous winds, faced Tiamat in a cosmic battle. Marduk's victory is decisive. He split Tiamat's bar in two, creating the heaven and the earth. From her defeated consorts, Marduk molds the stars, and with the blood of Kingu, one of the Tiamat's followers, he creates humanity. Thus, the Enumelish not only explain the origin of the world and the gods, but also establish the purpose of humanity, to serve the gods and maintain the temples. When we compare the Enumelish with Genesis, the similarities are fascinating. Both narrates begin with the universe in a stage of chaos or void. In Genesis, God creates the world through the Word, bringing order to the chaos, separating the waters to create the heaven and the earth, just as Marduk used the Tiamat's body. Moreover, the creation of humanity to inhabit and take care of the earth in Genesis reflects Marduk's intentions to create human beings to serve the gods. These similarities raise intriguing questions about the nature of creation and the role of humanity. While the Enumelish presents a worldview in which order is established through conflict between gods, Genesis offers a perspective of creation as an act of divine will, marked by harmony and purpose. Humanity in both books is seen as an integral part of the universe, created with a specific purpose. In the original text, the divine origin is very similar. The first tablets of Enumelish says the following: when the heaven above did not exist, and the earth beneath had no coming to begin, there was Apsu, the first in order, the creator, and Tiamat, the demon who bore them all. They had mixed the waters together. Here the first verse of the Genesis say, in the beginning God created heaven and earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. But the differences are equally significant. The uniqueness of Genesis lies in this presentation of a single God who creates the universe and humanity with love and relationship. In contrast, the Enumelish reflects the polytheism and cosmology of the ancient Babylonians, with gods embodying natural elements and cosmic force in constant conflict. But there is another myth that also describes another event very similar to some accounts in Genesis. In this case, the flood. While the anomaly envelops us with gods and the creation of the cosmos, the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest known literary works of humanity, brings us to the level of human speech, exploring themes of friendship, mortality, and in search of meaning. Gilgamesh, king of Uruk, half god and half human, is present as a tyrannical leader, whose insatiable quest for glory and immortality leads him on an epic journey that transforms not only himself, but also understanding of the human condition. In the book, Gilgamesh's quest for the immortality after the death of his friend Enkidu leads him to Unnespiti, who was a survivor of the great flood sent by God to destroy humanity. That similarity between the story and the biblical flood narrated in the Genesis is undeniable. Unnespiti receives instructions for a god to build a huge ark, taking with him his family and representative of all animal species. After the flood, the ark rests on a mountain, and Unnespiti sends off the birds to check if the waters recede, a direct echo of Noah's journey. This story woven into the fabric of the Epic of Gilgamesh offers us a glimpse not only of ancient concern with mortality and the search of redemption, but also of a flood narrates that crosses cultures. The way the flood is presented, although variant in details, underscores a shared understanding of human existence, fragility, and divine sovereignty of creation and destiny. The story of Noah in Genesis resembles the text of Unnespiti, but with a fundamental difference that reflects monotheism worldview. In Genesis, the flood is also an act of divine judgment, followed by a promise of redemption and the renewal of the covenant between God and humanity. Through the rainbow, God promised never again to destroy the earth with water, establishing the last symbol of hope and mercy. Now knowing there's two stories, the question remains, could Genesis be a copy of these ancient myths, where there's documents truly older than the Book of Moses? Well, for the second question, the answer is yes. These documents are considered older than the Bible. Moses possibly wrote Genesis around the 15th century before BC, while the novelist was writing around 1800 BC, 300 years before Moses was born. The Epic of Gilgamesh was also written centuries before Moses. With so many similarities between these books and the Bible, it's hard to believe it's just a coincidence. So how can we explain this? One of the answers was provided by Kennedy Anderson, author of the book Ancient and Old Testament. In the ancient Near East, that is, in the era of Sumerians and Moses, the rule was the original document was always more concise than the copies. That is, for Genesis to be a copy, it would have to be much more complex and detailed than the Sumerian legends, even though it was written centuries later. Therefore, it does not make sense for Genesis to be a copy, but there are reasons for many similarities. The so-called Adamic tradition. Assuming that Adam and Eve really existed, everything they received from God was passed on their descendants, who transmitted it from generation to generation, until reached Moses. But like our oral tradition, some distortion may have occurred along the way with the onset of paganism. God realizing that the truth was being lost, inspired Moses to write the true story so they would be eternalized in the whole Bible. By approaching Genesis not as an isolated text but a part of a rich and multifaceted tapestry of human stories, we can see his beauty and depth in a new way. Genesis offers a unique vision of the relationship between God and humanity, a promise of communication and the purpose that speak directly to the hearts of the faithful across the ages. Therefore, as we celebrate Genesis and the countless other creation stories, we do not see them as competitors, but also different voices in a universal cause that seeks to understand the sense of your existence. Genesis, with its invitation to reflection and faith, is not just the initial chapter of the Bible. It is an invitation for each of us to explore, question, and ultimately find our own place in the world.